Like when you go to a party, right, and the drinks are finished, everybody disappears, right? So it's the same as the users.
Exactly.
So like, hey, the
free
drinks, the
drinks.
food is
Okay,
gone.
I'm
It's
done.
like like after 2 minutes, everybody's gone, right? Like everybody's they're gone, right? So
Yes, that's true. That's very true. Okay, but then we're coming to this problem, which is always a problem, even if it's multi-reward. Like what you mentioned, like players just get the reward and they disappear. And it doesn't matter if it's day 7, day 14, or day 50. It's just they just disappear afterward. Like what can we do with this as me as a user manager or a rewarded platform, or you as tier ads? Like how does that?
yeah, so I'll give a great analogy here. It's like when you go to a party, right, and the drinks are finished, everybody disappears, right? So it's the same as the users.
Exactly.
So like, hey, the drinks,
free drinks.
the food is
Okay,
gone.
I'm
It's
done.
like after 2 minutes, everybody's gone, right? Like everybody's gone, right? So
yes, that's true. That's very true.
You want to make sure you always have some drink to give to the user, right? You always want to be able to give them something that they can come back and actually engage with, right? So that's really where the capabilities lie within the rewards platform. When you're dealing with them, it's like, okay, what are you going to do about that, right? Okay, I have a user that drops off and drops off after day 14 or day 30. What kind of ways can you re-engage those users? What kind of ways can you activate those users and get that done, right? That is basically the crux of a reward platform that will succeed or not, right? So what can you do about that is really just you need to be able to re-incentivize the user, re-engage those users for a long period of time. And not all platforms are capable of doing that, because most of the platform thinks it's a simple offer wall. I'll just make a multi-reward section and it should succeed,
and
right?
That's it. Yeah,
and that's it. But that's not the case anymore, especially as there are more rewards platforms. The user has more choice, right? They will just go to a different platform that makes more.
Yeah, they will just collect rewards from everywhere and then just disappear.
They're just going to go to the next party, right? So
exactly.
Like, hey,
so many happy hours. Thank you very much. Go.
Okay, like, drinks are done. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one, right? So how do you keep the users? You got to keep them incentivized, right? You got to keep some kind of incentive to get the user engaged, right? Or you need to make the party so fun, right? And so nice that they want to stay around, right? So that's really the ways that you can keep that long-term engagement. But it is, if I have to say, the biggest problem right now in our industry, the rewarded space, is that the long-term engagement for clients
and the progression,
is not good,
right? Okay.
And the progression is not good, right? And this is really where the rewards industry, we as a whole, need to find a solution and need to build that in, right? And the partners that don't do that will not exist in a year time. That's basically how this will go. So it's either you fix it or you're done, right? That's basically how it will go.
Okay, but then like, can you talk about that kind of fixing the problem? Because I'm pretty sure like this is the problem that the whole industry has, and you're talking about it quite a lot. So tell me more.
Yeah, so I sleep, eat, and dream about long-term progression.
Exactly.
The only thing I think about is long-term progression. So at the dinner table, I talk about it.
yeah.
No, so it's the biggest thing really to understand is that everything lies in the data, right? So we, on our side, what we do is we have a big data team that takes all the data from our clients and sees the sessions, the revenue that we're generating. And if something drops off, we can see that basically dropping off at a certain moment, right? And that's where our version 3 of our SDK is launching very soon, is that's where basically we have engagement based on churn. So what we do is we analyze when the user is churning, and then we basically engage them, right? We give them an extra drink at that moment just to get them to reactivate, right?
Okay.
So, and we can keep doing that till we hit the KPIs of our clients. So we have built in our system a solution that takes in the KPIs of all of our clients, and we can predict when they're not achieving those KPIs on day 30, day 60, day 90, a longer term engagement, or even longer than that, using machine learning and LTV prediction. And when we see that the users is dropping off below that prediction level, that is the moment where these automatic engagement campaigns start activating, right? So we're seeing that, okay, hey, this user is dropping off. Now we need to activate these users to engage them further. And with that, we try to nudge them over the finish line to get that full ROI for our clients so that they can also feel secure with that quality.
How does that engagement campaign look like?
So it's basically like a little pop-up that comes up for the user when they come back into the app, or a push notification that happens from our SDK. And we basically push that, hey, we have a limited time offer. You have 2 hours to finish this, right?
Okay.
So it's a very easy little event that we have, and that they then basically re-engage. And then we have another one that comes out below that, and another one that comes below that. There's a little progression to get them back into the game, because sometimes they play like 5 or 10 games, right, on an offer wall. And they just need to get reintroduced to the game and keep playing a little bit.
Keep playing again.
And then they start progressing again from that point, right? So it's just like when you go to a party, right? You want to leave. If they just say like, "Hey, here's one more last drink for
wait
you."
a second. Yeah.
All
This
right,
is the last one. Like, yeah.
Let me stay here a little bit longer and let me see how it goes, right? So it's the same thing as the incentive for the user. That's basically where the industry is going, right? And what we have built on our side is really the foundation of checking when that is occurring, right? And when that's happening, and automatically engaging that. So we don't ask the UA manager to do anything for that part, right? It's really our responsibility as a rewards platform to hit your KPIs, right? At the end of the line, you want to just activate a campaign and you want to just sit back and say,
yeah,
all right,
yeah, thank you very much.
Everything is good, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, you mentioned also a very interesting thing when we talked at MAU, kind of the structure of the whole campaign. Basically, you can have a playtime kind of offer for first 7 to 14 days, and it kind of changes to like multi-rewards, and then you kind of have these engagement types of re-engagement campaigns. Like how should I think about it?
Yeah, so really the results lie in the combination of these things to get the right results, right? So we have playtime that there's a very good engagement to get people just to start playing again, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because you play for a few minutes, you get some rewards, right? You have a reward, an event that they need to achieve, like level up your castle, that they can do to re-engage these users. Or we have purchases or purchase packs that can help to stimulate purchase behavior, right? As like a similar, like a cashback system. And it really is the capabilities of the rewards platform, what they have to be able to engage those users based on what they see that really engages the user to achieve a certain result.
Okay.
So if you just have a multi-reward structure or a single reward structure, right, and you don't have any of those capabilities, the user just drops off after that point. But maybe you want to re-engage them. If you have a daily reward, a level up might not be the right incentive for them, but maybe playing just 10 minutes can get them to re-engage.
Okay, yeah.
So it's the playtime is very good to get very short-term, quick engagement, and that can lead to bigger steps later on, right? So you play a little bit of time, then you do level up, and then you make a purchase to get a bigger reward, right? This is one of the structures that can be potentially utilized. But that's really the capability of a rewards platform to do that, right?
Yeah, of course.
You don't control that, right? The rewards platform needs to be able to offer that towards you and say, okay, this is the solutions that we have for this to prevent this from happening and prevent this from churning.
I mean, yeah, obviously I care only about like hitting the ROAS goals, nothing else. I mean, if it's going to be a combination of playtime, multi-reward, single reward, it doesn't matter for me. Like, okay, we're hitting the goals, it's fine. Can we scale? Can we scale this? Well, usually like the scale is kind of problematic. So like, how can you combat that? Because obviously you can have 10,000 networks and then suddenly altogether it's kind of a significant amount of money. But how can you scale campaigns?
Yeah, so the scale really is like, what I highlighted the first point. Once you trust your numbers, right, then you could be a lot more aggressive with how you need to bid, right? And once you trust your numbers, you'll be like, okay, hey, I don't have to reduce my bid because I'm afraid my quality is not going to get hit. And at the end of the line, an offer wall is a ranking system. It is best offer to lowest offer, or best earning offer to the lowest earning offer, right? So you need to take into consideration that you're bidding against other partners. And as there's more and more games that are coming in, they're bidding against each other, right? So if you protect yourself correctly in the beginning and you trust your numbers, then you can go on the offense and be a lot more aggressive with the bids that you need to have to test out the different structures to be able to get maximum scale. Because sometimes it's just the addition of a small bonus on the beginning to get the user to engage a little bit more, so that then the earnings go up, and then suddenly you're up 20 positions in the offer wall rank, and then suddenly you get a lot more scale, a lot more volume that happens than if you would be not doing that side.
Yeah.
So the scale really relies in making sure you get everything ready in the front end, right? Make sure you're really well prepared, and then going offense on the aggressiveness of your bids.
Okay.
The more aggressive you are, right? Even if you start off in the beginning with a bid, it's better to start off higher and then go down, because then your rank is going to be up highest very quickly, and then you can always go down in your bid after that, because then the system has already learned where to place you, right?
Okay.
So
yeah. The classic bid high from the start and then adjust as you go, because if you start low, then you're basically screwed from the get-go.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah. You don't want to start too low. If you start too low, this is usually what we see when people start too low, is because they didn't do the first part and they had bad experiences. And that's when they're like, oh, I don't trust it. Let me start with a lower bid because I don't know if I'm going to get my money back, right? And that's where you're going into this death spiral almost. Like, I don't trust rewarded. Let me try this. Oh, it's getting bad. Okay, I don't trust it even more. And then you're just like, eventually, reward doesn't work for me. So,
yes, pretty much. But yeah, like we are talking about all of this, and its majority it's Android. So what's happening on iOS?
Yeah, so iOS, a lot of things are actually happening at the moment. Very interesting what's occurring right now to see in on Apple, right? So there are a lot more iOS apps that are actually coming out right now. And we see that there's a loosening from Apple's point of view of what a reward app is restricted of, right? Because we bring it back to the history of rewarded, or incent as it used to be called, because we branded it to rewarded, because incent was a bad word, but now it's rewarded.
That's exactly. Yeah. Now this is rewarded UA sexy, incentivized. Oh no.
No,
we don't do that.
No. Yeah. We don't do incent, we do rewarded only. So actually, in the beginning, when we had rewarded or incent, right, it was actually just boost campaigns. That's really the foundation of all of advertising networks. Iron Source, a lot of the big ones, all of them started with boost campaigns. And it was, okay, I want to get up to the highest offer position in for my app. I'm just going to buy hundreds of thousands of downloads on a day for very cheap. And then
just to get into the rankings.
Rank. Yeah. And that's where Apple became very restrictive on that kind of behavior from rewarded apps, right? Because they weren't actually providing value to the Apple ecosystem. They were trying to game the Apple ecosystem. And I think that's where Apple was very restrictive in that sense. They really want to protect their ecosystem that they have. But it's a lot different story now, because now it's actually, the rewarded place is actually not there to boost anymore. It really is there to offer users a way to explore and find different games, and that they also are buying in the games and they're actually playing in the games. And the actual behavior from the users is very, very, very different. And I see with that the amount of strictness that Apple has had on that area has been becoming looser and looser. They don't want a pure rewarded offers of offer wall on that, but they do allow for combination of like a finance app with a reward structure there, or they have some other type of game, or a game that has a rewarded app inside, right? It's a lot more loose than it used to be in the past. And that's because of the value that the user's getting, and also that they're not just doing that to game system or a game direct in that sense.
Not anymore. Okay, so now we are just gonna see way more rewarded UA iOS apps as well.
Yeah. And also for the iOS side, we do see as well that long-term progression is also a lot more sticky there. So we do see that with iOS apps, when we're promoting iOS apps, that the user, even though they're going to a party and the drinks stop, they tend to hang around still. So they like just talking with people, and they're like, okay, it's like, this is nice. Let me just stay here a little bit longer, and let me just talk with people. I don't need the incentive is not the most important thing.
Yeah.
You do see a different behavior with the iOS user than with the Android user. Yeah.
And that analogy is so on point. I mean, it brings me back to MAU.
The drinks are done, everybody's gone, right?
Yeah. Okay, so then what's next for rewarded UA? I mean, you kind of hinted like it's gonna be a kind of moment like live or die, like when you don't have the capabilities that everybody else has, like you're just gonna be either consumed or just dead, basically.
Yeah, so right now at this moment, what we see on our side is that if you don't get your shit together in the next 6 months, next year you probably won't exist anymore.
Okay.
There's a lot of investment that is going into the industry right now from rewarded platforms and rewarded apps, right? And just a lot of investment coming in, and that's inflating a majority of the different partners that are out there. But if they don't get their shit together next year, they're basically going to be out of business, right? We talk with a lot of our reward partners that have our SDK integrated, and this is also what the information that we give and tell them. It's like, yeah, at the end of the line right now, the CPIs are very high for rewarded partners, and it makes it difficult for them sometimes to be profitable. But it's just a waiting game for the real partners that are really understanding what needs to be done. And then eventually it's going to consolidate in the next 6 months to early next year. And then from that point, it's going to be maybe 3 or 4 major partners that are out there. Okay. And those are going to be the ones that are going to dominate the industry. And that's going to be, then the next battle is going to be, okay, from those 4, who's going to be the big one?
Who could be the biggest one?
Yeah.
Yeah, because, like there are all these like people saying, no, this is the peak. Oh, well, it was the peak last year. Now, like everything's going down and it's going to die very soon. I was like, I don't think that's what's going to happen. Of course, it's going to evolve to something else, but it's definitely not going to die.
No, definitely not. If you look at Misplay, for example, they've been around for a while and they know what they're doing, right? So they have their reward structure quite in order, and they have done that long-term progression solution, right? So it's really the partners that are going to be able to fix that and get that done. Those are the ones that are going to stay. The other ones that are just going to do the single reward or the multi-reward or a simple structure, those are all going to disappear. They're not really going to exist anymore next year. And that's really where, interrogate your partner that you're working with, right? Make sure you choose the right partner to start with. Because if you don't, right, you're just going to have a lot of headaches and problems and issues, and you don't want to have that.
more than you should. Okay. And again, perfect. Again, very, very, very on point and super helpful. Super, super helpful. Listeners, if you wanna reach out to Zeno, I will put all the information in the show notes. Zeno, thank you very much for doing this again.
Yeah.
And anything else you want to share with the listeners? Where can they find you, and how they should start running the rewarded UA yesterday?
Yeah, if you're looking to find me, I'm in Bali, Indonesia, right? So if you ever want a coconut and join me and talk about rewarded UA, please join me, right? So you're more than welcome at our office. We have an office in Bali as well. I think the only ad tech company in Bali. Yeah. But if you want to reach out and you want to talk with us, right? You can always reach me out on LinkedIn, especially if you have issues with fraud or you have particular issues with rewarded platforms or anything else, right? More than willing to help out with that, right? Even if it's a competitor of ours, at the end of the line, the industry, the rewarded industry as a whole has a reputation, and I want to make sure we're as high as possible. So always willing to help on that side. Otherwise, my email will be down below as well on attached, so you can email me as well if you have any requests.
Jeez. Man, thank you very much. Listeners, thanks for staying with us until the end. See you next time. Cheers.
See you later.